Cruella is a movie. When it was announced, I rolled my eyes because I was like, a movie about the woman who hates dogs? Come on, really? You got no other better ideas to make a movie about? Then Emma Stone was cast. I still didn't care for it, but I love Emma Stone. Very good actress, brilliant comedian as well when she's in comedic movies. And then the first trailer came out. And you can see my reaction to that trailer on the channel. Then the second trailer came out. Then a third kind of TV spot trailer came out as well. And I was in love. I was in love with every single trailer, poster, image that showed this movie. I wouldn't think that Cruella would be one of my most anticipated movies of 2021. But today I sat down to press play. It's on Disney Plus today. It's in some theaters as well. Brand new. And I was excited to watch Emma Stone play Cruella. For me, the trailers gave a very DC Comics villain origin story vibe. Very much maybe like the Joker movie. Now, the director of this movie, and Emma Stone, said that it wasn't inspired by Joker. They were doing their own thing. Very much Cruella. And you know what? That's kind of half true. Because there's a lot of elements of this movie that reminded me of the Joker movie. There's actually a song that was in the Joker movie that ends up in this movie as well. But ultimately, Cruella is her own thing. It's not a rip-off of the Joker. It's not a rip-off of Harley Quinn or any other movie. It takes maybe inspiration from the Joker movie. It's very much its own movie, but I do think that they were inspired a little bit by the Joker because there's a lot of hints of it in this movie, especially Emma Stone's line delivery at times as well when she becomes Cruella. But did I like the movie? Damn right I did. This movie is very, very good. I enjoyed it. Look, the soundtrack, the music is absolutely fantastic. I loved every single one of the songs that they put into this movie. Even the one from the Joker, I loved it. There was some covers of songs as well. It wasn't the original. Not as good as the original, but it was still pretty good to hear some of those songs. And I won't spoil anything in this review. It's a non-spoilers review. But the music was top notch. Emma Stone was absolutely fascinating to watch as Cruella and also as Stella. She plays kind of two characters in this movie. But when she's Cruella, that's when she's at her best, big time. Mark Strong was in this movie as well. Had a solid enough role. Didn't have much to do, but he was very important to the plot. And there's a big twist near the end of the movie as well. He was very important to that. Emma Thompson was the villain of this movie, really, you know, because Cruella is kind of an anti-villain. She does some good things, she does some bad things, but Emma Thompson's character is completely bad. To be honest, there's some scenes that's very hard to watch with Emma Thompson because of how she treats people that work for her. And at times you're like, oh, they really went there, because they don't hold back at times. There's even abuse in the workplace, and Emma Thompson's character does it and doesn't apologize or anything like that. Throws it around on the person that she kind of abused. So at times it's hard to watch, and it doesn't feel like a Disney movie. It really doesn't. They didn't make out Cruella to be a Disney princess or anything like that. She very much is a villain, of course, from the original book, the original novel. She was a villain, of course, when Glenn Close played her in the 100 Dalmatians movies. But here, she is a villain, which is also good. But they don't filter anything. It's just very much hardcore on the edge. It wasn't an R-rated movie, of course, but you know what? It probably could have been at times, because if they wanted to throw in a few F-bombs and stuff, they probably could have, and it would have suited the tone, but the movie's fine the way it is. Now, the plot isn't overcomplicated or anything. We get to see the origin of Cruella. Cruella very much has a vendetta against Emma Thompson's character, which I won't reveal, of course, but she tries to upstage her at times at events and at parties by the fashion that she's wearing, which is pretty fun. And of course, Stella, Emma Stone's character, transforms into Cruella, and we get to see why that happened in terms of why she has this vendetta against Emma Thompson's character, which I think was done pretty well. And there's some heartbreaking moments in this movie as well that you really kind of feel for the character, especially the opening few minutes. It's very tragic, and I think people can maybe relate to that in a certain way because of life experiences. But yeah, it's cool to see Cruella and Emma Thompson's character have this rivalry throughout the movie, and Cruella's one step ahead every single time. We get to see her as a young girl, what she went through. She went through some tragedy. I won't spoil it. Then we get to see her kind of, not rich, kind of poor, and she's kind of working her way up, just kind of stealing stuff, doing mini heists with her two friends, who is Jasper and Horace. They were very good in this movie as well. The two actors that played them, good chemistry. They were very funny, and I thought Emma Stone and those two actors that played Jasper and Horace were very good together. I could actually tell that they were a family, And also in this movie, the dogs are CGI. And you know what? I thought it would take me out of the movie, but not really, because the dogs have to do some interesting tasks, I would say, in the movie. And a normal dog wouldn't be able to do it or pull it off as good. So the CGI dogs are still cool, and they're still very cute. So there is that. Dogs are very cute in this movie. But yeah, so Cruella, we get to see the transformation from Stella to Cruella. Stella as a character ends up working for Emma Thompson's character, and then, as I said, Emma Thompson's character treats her staff badly and kind of pisses off Emma Stone's Stella character, which creates the Cruella character. And I won't spoil how that happens or why she ends up transforming or what the twist or anything is, because you should definitely watch this movie with fresh eyes, because it really is just a really good movie. It's a fun movie. The fashion in it, the clothing is top notch. It's beautiful to look at. The costume design, the set design. The movie did a pretty good job of depicting the decade that it's in, the 70s. There's a little bit of the 60s as well, 70s. Maybe it touched into the 80s, but didn't really tell us. But, the song choices, very good for that decade. And when they are showing off the clothes and the fashion and how Stella creates kind of her certain type of signature clothing, because Stella very much is a genius, but she was raised in a poor environment, so she never really got to excel and stuff, and her dream is to become a fashion designer, and she ends up working with Emma Thompson's character. But it's just cool to look at, because everything mixed together, the performances, the costume design, the set design, the soundtrack, the chemistry between the actors, some of the stunts, it just blends all together to be a really good movie. Now, I was really digging this movie for probably the first hour and maybe 40 minutes. And then there's kind of a gap in the movie where it's not as interesting as what came before and what comes after. There's kind of a downward kind of essence to this movie, because you're like, okay, we had some cool kind of moments there. Oh, the twist came. Okay, now what are we doing now? And then you're kind of waiting for the next big thing. And it takes a while to get to the next big thing. But the final act of this movie is very good as well. I enjoyed it. And look, this isn't a biopic. It isn't a very realistic movie. There's some stuff that happens in this movie that you were like, that would never happen. That character can't really do that. But you just push it to a side and just enjoy the movie. And I think you'll have a good time with it. It's a good movie to watch with your family. Sit down, watch it. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes as well. It's a pretty long movie, but there's also a post-credit scene, so don't turn it off straight away. There's a cool post-credit scene that maybe sets up a sequel, and I would really like to see a sequel to Cruella, because Emma Stone looked like she was just having a hell of a time in this performance. Mark Strong was pretty good. I'd like to see him return. The two actors that played Horace and Jasper were pretty awesome as well. The dogs were cute. Emma Thompson maybe could appear in a sequel, maybe, or they might want to do something a little bit different, but overall, all round, good movie. Really enjoyed it. I never thought I would be excited for Cruella, and I was excited for Cruella, and it didn't disappoint. I enjoyed the movie. We also had the first kind of LGBT character in the Disney environment, first ever, which is amazing to see, of course. And I think there was a good bit of diversity in this movie as well. You had some characters of color, you had a gay character, you had a woman lead, you had some really strong males as co-stars as well. So I think everybody was kind of, brought to light in this movie, which is good to see as well. And it's a Disney movie, and it's good to see them kind of trying new things as well. But it didn't feel like a Disney movie. That's what I'm trying to say. It really didn't feel like a Disney movie. It felt like a villain origin story. And there's times where you're thinking, this would be a really good comic book movie. And at times it feels like a comic book movie, but not in a bad way. It kind of takes kind of elements, maybe Joker, Venom, that anti-hero, bring them in, and they do a good thing, but they're also pretty bad as well. And if I was to pick some negatives about that movie, it would be kind of about that 15 minutes that was kind of a little bit boring. Or maybe how Emma Thompson's character acts around her staff and stuff like that. It was hard to look at times. Maybe they could have brought that back in a little bit. But also, Emma Stone's character, Cruella, is no saint either. She treats, especially her two friends who have grew up together with her, Jasper and Horace, and they take it off her at times. And I'm like, guys, stand up for yourself. Say something. I really hope if a sequel does happen, that is brought into the second movie and they actually do talk up against Cruella and say, look, what you're doing is not you. It's mean. You're hurting our feelings or something like that, because I just don't like seeing people be disrespected like that over and over again without them standing up for each other. So it's not nice to see. So I thought that was a little bit much. But look, Cruella is a good movie. 2 hours and 10 minutes of pure fun and joy. Maybe bar those 15 minutes that I talked about, but it's good. Emma Stone looks like she's having an absolute great time. I actually liked Emma Thompson in this movie. I don't really like her in some movies. Some movies I just don't like her. Mark Strong was brilliant. Everybody involved was very, very good. The score, the set design, the costume design, the soundtrack, the director, everything was really, really good. I think it was a solid movie with loads of fun. Guys, have you seen Cruella? Let me know below your thoughts about the movie. I'm very interested to see how people react to this movie. For somebody who's not into fashion or the idea of this movie, ended up loving it. I really loved it. But maybe you were like me. Maybe you didn't think this movie should be made. And then you're excited for it. Or maybe from the start you thought, oh, Cruella, I love this character. A movie about her, and now the movie has come out and you love it. Let me know below. Guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Give a like, comment and subscribe. But the most important thing is to get in the comments and let me know your thoughts. Okay guys, see you then. Enjoy Cruella. It's a good ride. I loved it. Thank you.